And then we hear noise in the other room. Scrooge goes to the other room, and there is a giant
Christmas
Muppet
Hagrid.
spirit. Truly ginger Christmas Hagrid is in the other room. There's so much food. It is the ghost of Christmas present.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
I was so happy to watch this movie because being here, it doesn't feel like Christmas. And so it's so funny because, like, it's just not as big of a holiday as it is in the States. And, like, so there's not just, like, music around and, like,
I mean,
decorations.
it's a big holiday, but it's not quite the same.
It's not like we have a fervor for Christmas that is unmatched anywhere else in the world. And so it just, like, hasn't felt like Christmas. And then watching this movie, I just had, like, so much joy. And I had, like, a cup of tea, and I had my sweater on because it was raining and cold. And I was just like, it feels like Christmas.
Christmas. Whereas, like, we had snow a couple days ago. I mean, it's warm today, but, like, it's very much Christmas in New York right now. I cannot remember the last time I saw a Muppets movie.
I don't know. I was actually thinking about this, and I think it was before I was a teen. I don't think I have watched one since I was a child.
I feel like I've seen this movie within the last 10 years because there are lots of jokes in this that are meant for adults or meant for the parents of whoever is watching this, which I appreciate. I don't remember there being this many, but I do remember some of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a vivid memory somehow of, I feel like we should say, this is the Muppet Christmas Carol, y'all.
Well, hang on. I'm gonna do the big intro in 1 second.
Okay. I have like a vivid sense memory of the trailer for this movie. And I don't know why. It must have been on like a VHS tape of something that I used to watch a lot of. And so I would see... and so I would like... Commit to the bit, commit. So I would see it a lot, and so, like, there were certain lines, like him using the rat to wipe the window, where it's like, thank you for letting me be a part of this. Like, I had a vivid sense memory of that being a part of the trailer, and, like, it's Ebenezer Scrooge! Honestly, it was just so funny to watch and be like, they used that for the trailer, and that.
Amazing. Let's dive in.
Hi.
Hello, dear listeners, intrepid heroes. Welcome back to 5678, a movie musical podcast, the podcast where we review and recap movie musicals. I'm Anna.
I'm Grace.
And we are your chaotic co-hosts. And this episode is our special edition holiday episode with the 1992 classic, The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Ugh.
I'm so happy to do
Man.
this. My face hurts from smiling.
It was such a delight, and, like, more songs than I thought there would be.
We were discussing this at the beginning, but I do not remember the last time I saw this. I do not remember the last time I consumed a Muppet film. I had to, at the beginning, I was like, I don't remember any of the Muppets' names other than Kermit. So I was like, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But I will say, there was a long title sequence where they listed all the Muppets by names. I'm like, I don't know their fucking names.
I remembered a decent amount of them, I will say, which was shocking to me, considering I didn't have a TV growing up, and so the Muppets was less a part of my life than it was a lot of other people my age.
All right, without further ado, you want to dive into this one?
I do! I want to dive into this and make a snow angel.
This is a lovely Disney film, clocking it at 1 hour, 30 minutes. It's available on so many streaming platforms.
So, we start, and we get a list of our cast of characters.
I thought this was going to be a quick title sequence. It was not.
It was not. So we get a long pull-back camera shot over, like, snowy rooftops of Victorian England. And we get our list of our cast of characters, so which characters are being played by which Muppets, and in the middle of this, as Scrooge, is Michael Caine.
And also Rizzo the Rat as himself.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
You can also, at one point, you can, as they were zooming out, you can tell this particular set that they used for the shot is miniature.
Yes.
It is not a life-size set, 'cause I'm like, those windows are not to scale.
Those are not real at all. So we get our long pullback shot, and then we work our way through a bustling marketplace. And honestly, it's going to be hard to describe everything because a lot of this is just like Muppet hijinks. Like, there's just shenanigans that happen that are silly and one-liners.
As you said, it is a bustling town square. We move through some streets. There's a lot of just Muppet interstitials as Muppets live amongst humans. We are introduced finally, after a bit of chaos, to our quote-unquote narrators, which is Gonzo, who is, in this case, Charles Dickens, and Rizzo the Rat, who is himself.
Yes, and they welcome us to the story. And so we get a little bit of exposition from Rizzo on who Charles Dickens is. And then Gonzo, or Charles, begins to tell the story.
We immediately shift to dark, moody lighting.
Very quick shift of tone. In fact, it is noted upon by Rizzo the Rat being like, did it suddenly just get very cold? Enter!
As we are introduced
Michael
to
Caine.
Ebenezer Scrooge. We do not see his face. We just see his neck down.
But we have our first song.
We do. All the Muppets sing the song called Scrooge, which is just about how awful and miserly this character is.
This has the same vibes as the opening of Beauty and the Beast, where it's just like all the townsfolk shitting on one person.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say Sweeney Todd.
Oh, that, I mean, sure. But no, it was just very much
but yeah,
just
you're right.
like...
It's just everyone being like, he's the worst.
It's like, God, what a horrible person. Mr. Humbug.
And they say not only is he the worst, he goes to extremes to make himself seem bad.
Yes.
I will say, there is one moment in this opening song where it's just Muppets on Muppets on Muppets on Muppets. And there's one shot of some vegetables.
Is it the vegetables?
Muppets.
Okay, good.
It's the vegetables. So, Muppets don't have teeth.
No.
This is pretty common knowledge that there is an eggplant in those vegetables that had teeth.
Oh no.
And it was so alarming.
I did not notice
That's all.
the toothed
That
eggplant.
Oh my god, it had chompers. Alright, that's all.
Anyway, the
That's
song
it.
ends, and Scrooge gets to his office.
And we see Michael Caine's face.
Yes, he turns around, we get his face.
And we get a humbug.
Oh yes, our first humbug.
Of many. This was a drinking game, and you had to drink for every
Boy,
time
you would be
Scrooge
feeling
said
nice and warm and
humbug.
toasty.
It would be a holly jolly Christmas for
Give
you.
me some eggnog, give me some mulled wine.
Honestly, would play that game.
I would play that
It's
game.
an hour-and-a-half movie. I could handle
Let's go. So, he walks into his office. There is Guy Muppet there in Scrooge's office. His name is Mr. Applegate. Basically, he's there because he's late on his mortgage, and he's apologizing and explaining, and without ever talking to him or doing anything, Scrooge just grabs him by the scruff of his neck and throws him outside of the office without a word.
We also meet Mr. Scrooge's main clerk, who is Bob Cratchit, played by Kermit the Frog, as well as a whole armada of little rat clerks.
Yes.
Who work for Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge comes back inside and tells Mr. Cratchit, Kermit, to send out eviction notices tomorrow. And so Cratchit reminds Scrooge, tomorrow's Christmas. And Scrooge has this whole speech about how this time of year is the best time for moneylenders because people overspend and...
Yeah, they spend money on their families instead of their mortgage.
The other employees go up to Cratchit during this conversation, all of the other rats, and pressure him to ask Scrooge for more coal for the fire.
Because they're cold. One of them even says, our assets are frozen, which I would not have clocked as a child.
It's such a funny turn of phrase. There's like 3 puns in there.
These little rats are so funny.
So funny.
And Scrooge says, how would you like to spend Christmas on the unemployment line? And we cut back to the rats, and they are all dressed in luau outfits, and they're like, oh no, we're fine! Heat wave!
This is an island in the sun!
It's fully a callback to that Marilyn Monroe movie, the Heat Wave song. What movie was that with Donald O'Connor?
Oh, that was, No Business Like Show Business.
Fully a callback to No Business Like Show Business.
It's so funny. So, they all go back to work. Just then, Scrooge's nephew, Fred, arrives. And what a big old doe-eyed boy.
He is so chipper.
Oh.
Fred is poor, but isn't bothered by it, and Scrooge cannot fathom this.
So confusing.
Fred keeps wishing his uncle a Merry Christmas. Scrooge hates Merry Christmas.
He wants to kill people who say Merry Christmas.
Just then, 2 new Muppets arrive, and we get a little bit of narration from our narrator, Gonzo, aka Dickens, that this was a time of year where well-meaning gentlemen would call upon businesses for donations for the poor and homeless. So 2 new Muppets, one of whom is Beaker, come in. Scrooge says, absolutely not.
Fuck no. At that point, Fred is still there, so he does give a little bit of money, and he ends up inviting Scrooge over for Christmas dinner. He puts up a wreath, and then he leaves. But the charity men do not leave.
Scrooge criticizes Fred's marriage, and he says the only thing that's stupider than Christmas is love. Very much just a bah humbug.
What a delight.
Light of my life. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. So, the charity men are still there, though, so Scrooge ends up telling them, you know, my taxes already pay for jails and poorhouses, so people should just go there.
Fully tosses them out.
And he starts to, like, rip up the wreath that Fred has,
surreptitiously hung in his office.
Yeah. But then he hears a caroler outside, so he opens the door, and it is the tiniest little rabbit, the most adorable Muppet. And he ends up just pelting the wreath at this tiny thing, and just, like, fully faceplants in the snow.
This poor little shivering rabbit.
Someone's halls are about to get
Truly.
decked. Anyway.
That night, it is the end of the day. Bob Cratchit, aka Kermit, goes up to Scrooge's office at the goading of all of the other rat clerks, and he asks for the day off for Christmas. Scrooge only wants to give him half an hour. He's like, all right, instead of 8, you can come in at 8:30. And Kermit's like, well, all the other businesses are going to be closed. It's going to be really bad for your business. It's going to be kind of a waste of finances. And Scrooge is like, all right, fine. You can have the whole day off, but be here extra early the next day. Scrooge leaves work, and all the workers are like, oh, thank God.
We get our next song, One More Sleep Till Christmas, which I loved this song. Oh.
This is one of the famous songs from this film.
This was the song where I was just there with my tea. It's like, this season to be jolly and joyous. I loved it.
It's all the clerks goofing off as they lock up.
And clean up and put everything away.
They all leave with Kermit, Bob Cratchit. There's a really quick bit of Penguin's Christmas party skating. There's... Okay, really quickly, in the opening number, we established that there are several Muppet horses in this world.
Yes.
When we get to Scrooge's house in the next scene, there is a real-ass horse. And I just want to know...
Yes.
What is the delineation between Muppet horse and real horse in this world? Anyway, our narrators, Charles Dickens, Gonzo, and Rizzo, take us to Scrooge's house.
Yes.
They really beat us over the head that Scrooge lives in a house that once belonged to his now dead business partner, the Marleys.
Yeah.
And they also describe it as a quote-unquote dismal heap of brick. It's a fine home.
It's a fucking fancy house.
But Scrooge goes to his front door and he goes to unlock it, and the door knocker on his house morphs into Jacob Marley's face and groans in Scrooge's face.
Screams his name at him,
Totally spooks Scrooge, and then suddenly it's gone. And Scrooge's like, what the fuck was that? He's definitely rattled by it, but he goes inside the house. Dickens and Rizzo try to sneak into the door, absolutely smashes in their faces. And they comment that Scrooge is rattled by this doorknob, and he searches all of his rooms before going to sleep, which means he's forced to light the lamps in his house, which he never does. He just, no one lives there, it is a crypt, but he lights all the lamps so he can make sure no one's in his house and playing tricks for him. He sits down by the fire for his dinner in his best dressing gown, complete with cap, and gasp! A bell, like a servant's bell on the upper wall by the fireplace, rings, and...
Did you note what his dinner was? It was just, literally a hunk of bread and a giant hunk of cheese.
Honest gold.
He's just sitting in front of the fire, ripping up bread and eating cheese. And honestly, I felt it.
Well, you're not going to feel what's going to happen next. The bell rings off the hook. Spooky wood creaking is heard. The fire dies, and ooh, ghostly light appears from the floor below, and fog.
Mist.
And
I don't know.
Scrooge sees the ghosts of Jacob and Robert Marley in chains.
Now, these are played by the Muppets, Statler and Waldorf. I love them both so much. The amount of pun work that they do with each other is just a beauty. So, They start heckling Scrooge, and at first Scrooge says, I don't believe that you're there, my senses could be altered, you're probably just like a bit of mustard or like a hunk of moldy cheese.
You're a bit of undigested beef. There's more gravy than grave about you.
It's so good. And so suddenly their song begins, and basically they explain that because they were so greedy in life, they are doomed to be shackled in the afterlife. And halfway through this song, suddenly chains come out of nowhere and wrap around Scrooge, and the Marleys tell him that he is equally doomed. Your chains are forged by what you say and do in this life. And they tell him that tonight he's going to be given a chance to repent, and he will be visited by 3 spirits.
The first one will be at 1 in the morning.
Yes. And then it's so late.
He literally says, can't I just meet them all at once and get it over with? Which,
I get it.
I feel.
I get it. The song ends, and the Marleys are pulled back down into the underworld. I don't know. Hell?
Just like that, everything is normal. Scrooge is definitely spooked. He gets into his bed, and he brings the fire poker with him.
There's more Muppet shenanigans with Charles, Gonzo, and Rizzo.
Yeah, Dickens and Rizzo, they sneak into his backyard, and they climb up a tree to watch in his window. Yeah. Scrooge falls asleep in his bed, but the clock tick, 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 ticks, and then chimes 1 o'clock. Side note, is this a William Shakespeare clock?
I did not notice, but it would make sense if it was.
It feels like it was depicting William Shakespeare holding the bells that chimed, and I wasn't 100% sure.
I hope it was. But suddenly there is a blinding white light, and then the first ghost appears, and this is my biggest gripe. This fucking spirit is so creepy. Oh my god. And I don't think it was meant to be, but it is horrific.
It's too human.
It's terrifying. It has like the face of a child.
Yeah, it's very Uncanny Valley. It's like too
close but not close enough.
But like it also looks like a bit like a kabuki mask.
Yeah, because it's completely stark white, and there's like the shock of red hair, but like also a bonnet, and I did not like it. Didn't like it.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
This ghost child Muppet has Scrooge take her hand, and they fly over the streets of London towards a glowing light, and they are suddenly in the past. They are in a small village of Scrooge's childhood. It is the afternoon of Christmas Eve past.
Yes.
Now, Scrooge can see everyone, but they can't see him. He's not able to communicate.
Yes.
He sees a bunch of children. They're outside a schoolhouse, and he goes, oh my gosh, this is where I grew up. This is where I went to school. Hey, there's that person. There's that person. That one was my best friend.
Yeah.
Scrooge and the spirit go inside the school, and Scrooge sees child Scrooge. Yes. Mini Scrooge.
Baby Scrooge.
And he comments that he didn't care much for Christmas as a child. He never went home for Christmas, and he tries to defend himself for why he liked being alone at Christmas.
What it feels like is an adult's rationalization of like a child's trauma. So what it feels like is that like
100%.
Either he didn't have a family to go home to, or his family didn't want him. And so it very much felt like an older person's like, this is what I told myself when I was a kid to help me get through this, and it's formed itself into the personality that I have today, but like just going back to the moment. This is just intense therapy for him.
Very quick therapy.
Yeah.
We see Scrooge grow up over the years, always alone at Christmas. I guess this was a boarding school kind of a situation. Suddenly it is graduation day. His headmaster,
Sam the Eagle,
congratulates him on his hard work and reminds him that the key to success is keeping your nose to the grindstone.
Yes.
The spirit then whisks Scrooge away to where his first job was, which is Fozziwig's rubber chicken factory. It is Christmas Eve. It is the Christmas party at Fozziwig's, and Scrooge makes a comment that, like, Fozziwig was a great employer. He was hard and tough as a rose petal.
Yeah, just like a sweet old man who's doing his best.
Yeah. We go inside the factory. It's the big Christmas party. There's a live band. The Marley brothers are there, but younger. Yep. We then see young adult Scrooge coming up and like very much like still like nose in his books. He comes up and he like kind of nudges Fozziwig, goes, do you know how much money you're spending on this party? Like, this is insane. And Fozziwig's like, nah, it's Christmas, it's worth it.
And then he's like, go mingle, and Scrooge immediately bumps into a lady. Her name is Belle.
Yeah.
And Fozziwig introduces them.
The spirit asks Scrooge if he remembers this moment, And Scrooge is like, yes, of course. And then the spirit asks if he remembers another Christmas with this woman. And Scrooge just says, please don't show me that Christmas. But the spirit shows him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They are whisked away to a future Christmas in Scrooge's past on a park bench.
Mm-hmm.
Scrooge and Belle are sitting together. They are in love. They have plans to get married, but Scrooge wants to push their wedding yet another year. It's been pushed in the past because they just don't have enough money in his mind.
Yep.
And Belle ultimately says, I'm leaving you because you don't love me anymore. You just love your own ambition.
Yes.
And she walks away. And
Now,
old Scrooge is very sad at this memory.
the reason for this is that there's a cut song here about how all that he loves is his own ambition and his money. It was deemed too intense or too sad for children, so they cut it. But that just means that the reaction that old Scrooge shows doesn't really make sense. He's genuinely weeping after this very, very short scene, which doesn't quite make sense. But if
Doesn't
you
quite
throw in the
track.
fact that the song was supposed to be there, then it tracks a little bit more.
Side note, and I will cut
Yes.
this if later, I'm pretty sure you can watch that song on the internet. So if that's
Yes.
the case,
That's my
going to
homework.
be my homework.
Oh, damn it.
God damn it.
It'll be both of our homework. Conjoined homework.
Excellent. Excellent. Were you able to find it? Can you confirm it's watchable?
It's on Disney Plus under Extras, so it'll definitely be on YouTube.
Okay, great. That's our homework. Why don't you
Yeah.
talk about that homework right now?
I'll find a version of that to add to our show notes for you to watch, because it makes the scene make a little bit more sense. Anyway.
Scrooge is very upset at this very brief memory, and then he wakes up in his room at home, and then the next bell tolls 2 a.m. And Scrooge
Suddenly,
is like, nothing happens though. Nothing
No.
happens for a second. Scrooge is like, what's happening? And then we hear noise in the other room. Scrooge goes to the other room, and there is a giant
Christmas
Muppet
Hagrid.
spirit. Truly ginger Christmas Hagrid is in the other room. There's so much food. It is the ghost of Christmas present.
so they do a bit of banter with each other, and it's very funny, and, like, he gets Scrooge to laugh, and Scrooge gets him to laugh, so there's, like, a bit of camaraderie there, which is nice, which we haven't seen him show with anyone else. And the spirit takes him to Christmas morning, and there's bustling streets, and he starts to sing this next song, which is It Feels Like Christmas. It's just such a happy, joyous song. We get a little bit of spinning, a mini dance, which was really fun, and yeah.
I'll say at the beginning, the spirit asks Scrooge if he's ever noticed that everything seems so wonderful at Christmas time, and Scrooge says no.
To be
but
honest,
maybe
no.
he's never really understood
Yeah.
Christmas. So we're starting to see a little bit of a change from absolutely not, I hate Christmas, to, well, I've never really enjoyed it, but maybe I haven't been understanding
understood
it to
it.
its extent.
Yeah.
Scrooge seems very out of place this whole time, surrounded by all this joy, but he does make several attempts to try and join him.
He starts to dance at the
And
end.
the gist of the song is, wherever you feel love, it'll feel like Christmas. And Scrooge says, I didn't know. I like, he has this kind of epiphany at the end, and he asks the ghost of Christmas present to, well, can I see my family? What are they doing on Christmas Day? The spirit takes him to see Fred and Clara, who is Fred's wife. Fred and Clara are hosting a Christmas Day feast for their friends. They're playing games, they're having fun, and they play a game. What's it called? What is?
Yes or no, but it's basically just 20 questions.
Fred has a character, and they all have to guess who it is, and they winnow it down to being like, oh, is it an animal? Is it a vegetable? Is it a mineral? It's an unwanted creature
that lives in the city.
Yeah.
Is it a mouse? Is it a rat? Is it cockroaches? Is it leeches? And then suddenly Clara guesses, oh, I know, it's Ebenezer Scrooge.
And they all laugh. Ha ha ha! It's so funny, but Scrooge is
heartbroken.
Oh my god, that his family, his own kin, thinks of him like this.
Well, and especially because he had, like, tried to, like, he knows that no one can see him, but he was playing along. He was throwing out answers of what it could be that his nephew was thinking of. And then it ended up being this, and it was just, how heartbreaking. It was such a sad moment. So then the spirit takes him to Bob Cratchit's house.
And it's a small, little, humble house.
Yes.
We hear Miss Cratchit inside
Piggy.
singing. Miss Piggy. Scrooge presses his face to the window, but then he watches inside. But then we see Bob Cratchit coming down the lane with Tiny Tim, one of his sons, on his shoulder. They're singing a reprise of One More Sleep Till Christmas.
I loved their
inside.
duet here. It was so good.
Yeah. He goes inside. His kids tackle him. Tiny Tim is ill and has a limp. And Scrooge makes a comment that, like, I didn't know that Bob Cratchit had a son that had these medical ailments.
Mm-hmm.
And Scrooge realizes, he looks at their humble feast and he realizes he really doesn't pay Bob Cratchit enough.
At all, yeah.
At all. And then they all sit down to dinner. Scrooge is watching. Bob Cratchit lifts his glass and he toasts to Mr. Scrooge. He calls him the founder of the feast. And Mrs. Piggy, Mrs.
Does
Cratchit,
not like
is
this.
very, very, very snarky.
He
But
is
Tiny Tim
stingy
kind of...
and badly dressed.
But Tiny Tim interrupts her ranting by singing the song God Bless Us All.
Yep.
The family joins in. Scrooge is fully brought to tears by this.
Yeah, he's touched to see the amount of positivity and love that they have for each other, despite the fact that they're obviously struggling financially. But the song ends with Tiny Tim coughing, and so it's obvious that he, like, has influenza or
He's not
pneumonia
well.
or tuberculosis or something like that.
Or to put it in literature terms, he's not well and must go to the seaside.
We must go to the country. Scrooge turns to Christmas Hagrid, and he wants to know if he will live. And the spirit
If Tiny
says...
Tim will live, not Scrooge.
Tiny Tim will
Tiny
live.
Tim
Yes,
will live.
sorry. And the spirit says he doesn't know because he only really sees the present. He has a vague image of possibly an empty chair and a crutch that has lost its owner, but it's not set in stone yet. Throughout all of this, the spirit has sort of grown old and gray-haired, so it's obvious that, like, his lifespan is, like, the day of Christmas. He's obviously on his way out. And they end up going to a graveyard. And
they teleport
to a graveyard. And as the bell strikes 12, the spirit of Christmas present disappears and Scrooge is left alone.
But Scrooge begs him. He says he doesn't want him to leave. He's learned so much from him. Please don't leave me.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. Suddenly Scrooge is alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the clouds rush in. There's spooky
ominous
fog.
roll of fog.
And wow, a super tall Muppet Dementor looking thing
exactly.
appears. And Scrooge is understandably terrified.
Yes, but he does say, I'm afraid, but I'm willing to listen and learn. And so...
he says, I'm prepared to follow and learn with a thankful heart.
So the spirit takes him to the future.
But, okay. The ghost of Christmas future, this Dementor Muppet, doesn't speak, but leads Scrooge into a wormhole.
Oh, no.
And they arrive in rainy future London.
Yes. And so there are 4 Muppets talking about how someone has died.
Muppet pigs.
And they don't know what happened to his money, but they didn't get any of it. And they comment, I wouldn't go to his funeral unless lunch was provided. And Scrooge wonders who they're talking about. And so the spirit points him into an alley where there are several Muppets who have stolen stuff from this dead man's house and are selling it to a spider. And Scrooge goes back to the spirit and says, oh, I see, my life could turn out like this man who has died here if I don't make changes. So he asks, can you show me some hope? Can you show me some tenderness? And so the spirit takes him...
For the future.
So the spirit takes him back to Bob Cratchit's house.
And it's very quiet.
Yeah. And he notices, and so he looks into the window, and we see Mrs. Cratchit crying. Bob comes home alone, and it turns out that he's just come from choosing Tiny Tim's gravesite, which I did tear up at this entire scene. But they all sit down to dinner with the empty chair, and Bob tries to comfort the family, but everyone is just grieving the fact that they have lost their son, their brother. It's just brutal, honestly.
Yeah.
This whole scene, it was just like, oh, this is a Muppet movie, and I am emotional. Cut to the graveyard.
Scrooge is taken back to the graveyard with the spirit, and he asks the spirit, all right, whose death brought so much glee to the others, to those Muppet pigs and to those beggars? The spirit points to a tombstone, and Scrooge is getting the sense of a reality that he's really afraid of, and he keeps asking of the spirit with increasing panic, well, are all these things that you've shown me, are they set in stone? Can the future be changed? And the spirit, again, doesn't say anything. It just keeps pointing at this tombstone. Scrooge kneels before it, wipes some snow away, and sees his own name. He was the one that they stole the the house linens from, that the pig Muppets were so gleeful about his death.
Yeah.
He cries. He begs the spirit for a second chance.
He says he's changed.
He's learned from these lessons, and he begs a spirit. He's like kneeling before the spirit, fistfuls of cloak, and suddenly he wakes up in his bed. It is Christmas Day.
Yes.
He has made it through the night.
He has, and so he blesses Jacob and Robert Marley for coming to him and giving him this opportunity to see the error of his ways. This is my moment of joy. This is my giggle. There is a moment where he looks at himself in the mirror, touches his hair, and goes, ugh, and then moves on, and it's never talked about. It's so funny. So, anyway, he's overwhelmed. He doesn't know what to do, so he goes to the window, and he sees that the bunny caroler from earlier that he chucked a wreath at. So he has, like, what day is it? And he's like, it's Christmas. And he was like, okay, you know that big-ass turkey that's down in the shop? Go and buy that, bring it back to me, and I'll pay you 5 shillings. And he throws a bag of money down to this kid, and this kid's just like, yeah, and then runs off.
Okay. Scrooge then leaves his house. He wishes Merry Christmas to everyone he sees on the street. I'm going to say my gripe now.
Do it.
Technically, it should be Happy Christmas, as this is set in London.
Yes, it is.
But it's an American
company.
So we'll say Merry Christmas. That's it.
Oh.
Scrooge runs into those charity men from the day before that he chucked out and insulted, and he gives them a very big donation saying there's more to come. They're so grateful. They're like, oh, we need to give something to you. That's not how charities work.
That's not how charities work. But Beaker decides to give him his scarf anyway. So Scrooge has the first pop of color on his neck, which is this bright red scarf.
And this takes us into our next song, which is Thankful Heart.
And
Scrooge sings as
Michael
he goes
Caine,
through the streets.
Following the school of Rex Harrison singing.
If I speak it, it will sound like a song.
Yes. So the boy with the turkey shows up and he's like, follow me, and then they go and buy a bunch of other food and presents. He goes to his office and he puts gift baskets of coal for his workers on each of their desks so that they can use it to keep themselves warm.
There's a really nice line at that point where I'm gonna butcher this lyric, but it's essentially like, you can measure a man by the quality of his friends, and Scrooge does not have any friends, and he realizes that, and he's actively trying to make amends. The gist of this song is that he's going to live every day for the rest of his life with a sea of love and a thankful heart.
So we have a scene of him going to Freddy's and hugging Freddy and
Fred! We never call him Freddy in this movie.
I'm so sorry. Fred. Going to Fred's and Clara.
Not all musicals that take place in London have characters named Freddy.
Says you.
My Fair Lady.
And so he goes and he gives them a hug and gives them gifts, and then we also see him.
Fred is stunned.
Overwhelmed.
Fred
and Clara's just like, oh, that was kind of nice. And Fred's just like, I am overwhelmed. He does the same thing with Mr. Fozziwig and his old schoolmaster. He goes and sees them and gives them gifts. And then the song finishes, and we end up at Bob Cratchit's door. So he decides to play a prank. So he has like an entire parade of people behind him, and he was like, get behind me! And hide! And so he knocks on the door, and he opens up, and he pretends that he's angry that Bob Cratchit has not come in to work yet. And would I give the day off? Does that sound like something Ebenezer Scrooge would do? And just then, Mrs. Cratchit, who's been listening to all this, barrels out of the door and starts to yell at him. Which, like,
Give him a piece of my mind!
Bless her for that. But just then, Scrooge yells over top of her that he's upping Bob's salary and he's going to pay off their mortgage. And suddenly they are both stunned into silence. They invite him in.
He brings in the turkey and the rest of the parade that's behind him. And there's essentially a massive Christmas dinner. And then narrators tell us that Tiny Tim didn't die after all. And Scrooge became like a second father to him. And everyone sings the finale song, When Love Is Found.
Yeah.
And it's lovely and it fills you with Christmas spirit.
And how many people do they have in that house? Anyway, there's a horse in there.
I have a gripe about that.
One of the Muppet ones.
Oh, good, a Muppet horse.
That makes more sense.
The only living things in this finale are Michael Caine and a live horse. And like 30 Muppets.
Good. Okay. Whew, that's the
so
end.
Stupid. That's this movie.
Guys, that was
It's
a quick
silly.
one. What a delight.
I loved it.
I loved every minute of it. Man,
Just-
I needed this.
I have joking gripes, but
I have
like,
silly
I
gripes,
have
but no real gripes.
Yeah.
Because, man, it was just like a blast of happy Christmas nostalgia.
And it was only an hour 30.
Man, which is so nice after the 2.5-hour-long movies that we've been watching. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What a nice way to send us off into the holiday season.
Absolutely.
Short
When this
one.
is coming out, Christmas, I think, was 2 days ago, because this will be coming out the Monday after Christmas. So hopefully this will help you get through the weird slump in between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. Oh, this was, again, we said it before, but this was a joy.
It was just such a breath of fresh air. Like, I love West Side Story, but it's
Yeah.
so dramatic and stressful at the end.
And dark.
And this was just such a blessing.
This was a joy. All right, shall we dive into some drinks and dramaturgy?
Yes!
If you're still with us, this is the part of the podcast where we talk about the dramaturgical aspects. Dramaturgy report! Dramaturgy report! This was directed by Brian Henson, son of Jim Henson. He's an American puppeteer, director, producer, technician, and he's currently chairman of the Jim Henson Company. Oh, I like this. During the 80s, so he wears a lot of hats. In the 80s, he was a puppeteer. He operated special effects for Santa Claus the movie, and he was a principal performer for the Audrey 2 puppet in Little Shop. He controlled the mouth movements while others controlled the lips and vines.
Amazing.
He also performed the voice of a character in Labyrinth
Ooh. Who?
and Hoggle.
Oh. Okay.
He directed this film in 1992, and then he directed the next film in the Muppet franchise, Muppet Treasure Island, in 1996.
Also a good one.
He performed the role of Dr. Phil Van Neuter, the mad scientist in Muppets from Space, in 1999. And in 2018, he directed and produced The Happy Time Murders, which is a Muppet crime comedy film for adult audiences.
I want to watch that. I have not heard of that, and that sounds amazing.
It was nominated for several Razzie Awards. I do not know how it did.
No!
The cinematographer was John Fenner for this film. He's a British cinematographer who specialized in handling in-camera effects, animatronic characters, and CGI. And he worked on a lot of Muppet and Creature Shop films. He began his Henson career on the TV show The Storyteller, and then went on to work with the director of that on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He shot this film, Muppet Treasure Island, and Beanstalk, The Real Story. Now, outside of Henson Productions, he's been a cinematographer, director of photography on other family films such as The Borrowers and the Disney animated feature Valiant. He also did a lot of uncredited gaffing work on some films in the 70s and 80s before working with Henson Productions, such as the films Superman and The Shining. Very different.
Wow.
Right? That's all I got.
So the writer of the screenplay, I'm not going to do the history of Charles Dickens, y'all. I figured that was something best left unsaid.
Listen, we'll attach the link to the Wishbone episode.
Oh boy. So the writer for the screenplay was Jerome Juhl? Juhl? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Juhl. He was an American television and film writer, best known for his work with the Muppets. He was the head writer on The Muppet Show, and he also wrote for the television shows Fraggle Rock and The Jim Henson Hour. He was involved... Yeah, and he was involved in some capacity with all of the Muppet films from The Muppet Movie in 1979 to Muppets from Space in 1999. According to Lisa Henson, so much of the humor, irreverence, and caring and heart began with Jerry. He was, in many ways, the real voice of the Muppets. Now, for this screenplay, so Jim Henson passed in May of 1990, and this was the first movie that they did after his passing. So the talent agent, Bill Harbour, approached Henson's son, Brian, with the idea of filming an adaptation. And Haber told Brian that The Christmas Carol is the greatest story of all time, so you should do that. And later informed Henson that he had sold the idea to ABC as a television film. Now, the longtime Muppets writer Joel was hired to write the script and decided to insert Charles Dickens as the stand-in narrator in order to remain faithful to the original prose of the written material. So Henson stated that Gonzo was chosen because he was the least likely choice to play Charles Dickens, while Rizzo the Rat was added to inject some humor and serve as a sort of Greek chorus.
I loved Rizzo.
I loved Rizzo in this. He was fabulous. Established Muppet characters were initially written to portray the ghosts, with various accounts stating that Robin the Frog or Scooter was to be the ghost of Christmas past, Miss Piggy was to be the ghost of Christmas present, and Gonzo, originally, or Animal, was supposed to be the ghost of Christmas yet to come. However, the idea was scrapped in favor of new Muppet characters that would better underline the ominous nature, and after the script was submitted for approval to ABC, the executives at Walt Disney offered to purchase the script for a feature film instead of a television release.
I'm so glad they did different Muppets for the ghosts.
Me too. And I mean, part of the reason was because Richard Hunt, who was Jim Henson's sort of right-hand man and worked together, he had also passed, and so they didn't feel like it was right to use his Muppet. So Scooter was Richard Hunt's Muppet that he created, and it was his, and so they retired that Muppet after he passed. And so they sort of reworked it. Now, for the music and lyrics were written by two different people. So Elliot Goodman was the music. He's an American composer for television and film. He is best remembered for his frequent collaboration with film director Frank Oz, in which they did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, What About Bob, House Sitter, and he did the score for Little Shop of Horrors, for which he was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Original Score. He also orchestrated or scored music for Footloose, About Last Night, La Bamba, Problem Child, I know, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, and Larger Than Life, Until There Was You.
Good tagline.
Working so often in films under the genre of comedy manifested Goodman's reputation as the king of comedy. Now, the lyrics and the songs were mostly written by Paul Williams Jr. So he is an American composer, singer, songwriter, and actor. He is known for writing the score and the lyrics for Bugsy Malone, and his musical contributions to other films include the song Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie. He wrote the song Evergreen, which is the love theme from Barbra Streisand's version of A Star is Born, which he won a Grammy for that and an Academy Award, and he wrote the lyrics to the opening theme for the television show The Love Boat. Yeah. So for actors and casting...
Oh, thank God.
So, there were a couple of other people that were being considered to play Ebenezer Scrooge. So, that included David Hemmings, Ron Moody, David Warner, Peter O'Toole, and the comedian George Carlin. Can you imagine George Carlin as Ebenezer Scrooge?
No.
So,
absolutely not.
Michael Caine eventually got the role, so he actively pursued the role of Ebenezer Scrooge when he heard that it was going to production. He had missed out on the opportunity to guest star on the TV series, which was shot in London, because he was living as a tax exile in the US at the time. However, he had a lot of friends who had guested on it, like Roger Moore, John Cleese, Peter Sellers, Sylvester Stallone. They told him that they had a great amount of fun while they were on the show, and it also gave them extra kudos with kids. And by the time that this film was greenlighted in 1991, Michael Caine had moved back to the UK, and when he heard that it was going to be filmed in London, he had his agent badger Jim Henson Productions until they agreed to meet with him. They then cast him shortly afterwards. So, after he was cast, he had a conversation with Brian Henson, who was told, I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role and there are no puppets around me. To which Henson reportedly replied, "Yes! Bang on!" So he took inspiration for the role from Wall Street Cheats and Embezzlers. I thought they represented a very good picture of meanness and greed.
I read that before I watched this film, and you can tell.
Oh, yeah, it's good. We mentioned earlier that there was a song that was cut, which is When Love Is Gone, and that was sung by Belle, where she laments that Scrooge's love of money has replaced his love of her. It was cut, as we said, because they didn't think that it would appeal to kids. Instead, the song itself is played during the film's end credits scene. But the director was not really pleased with this cut. He said that the concluding song, "The Love We Found," is a direct counterpoint to this song that Belle sings, and because they took away that, it means that the final song, while nice, isn't as emotionally cathartic as it could be because you didn't have that sort of emotional punch earlier on. There were 2 other songs that are on the soundtrack but aren't in the movie at all. One is "Room in Your Heart," sung by Dr. Honeydew and his assistant Beaker as the charity workers, and the other one is "Chairman of the Board," sung by Sam the Eagle as Scrooge's headmaster. Both were recorded but dropped from the script before filming started to help the flow of the story.
Amazing. Reviews and awards. So, Walt Disney Pictures had high expectations for this film. It was their widest released film of the holiday season, and second widest released under the Disney banner that year. However, the film opened in 6th place, grossing at about $5 million. Ultimately, it grossed about $27.3 million in North America. It had a modest box office success. It did not have a large effect during its theatrical release, mostly because it was facing direct competition from Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and Aladdin. So, it didn't do great at the box office. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 76% based on 49 critical reviews with an average rating of 6.71 out of 10. The site's consensus states it might not be the finest version of Charles Dickens' tale to grace a screen, but Muppet Christmas Carol is funny and heartwarming and serves as a good introduction to the story for young viewers.
Agreed.
Which wholeheartedly agree with.
Yes.
Want to talk about some singing and dancing? Some Muppet dancing?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, the singing itself, it's interesting because obviously they had to sing in the voices of the Muppets. But, in general, I found when the Muppets sang, all of the singers were obviously good, even if they were putting on a caricaturish voice. Michael Caine did his best. It was very much...
I didn't mind that his character...
couldn't sing.
Michael Caine can't sing.
Yeah.
Because we already had such stylized voices for the Muppets. It might have been very jarring.
If he had, a lovely baritone.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed.
We had already set the precedent that, this is not the film for, vocal finesse. Mm-hmm. Or it's a very specific vocal style, so I'm more accepting of him not
I think it
matched
the tone of the movie. And
it matched the tone.
The vibe.
100%.
So I was fine with it. And then the dancing, there was really only one spinny bit in the song with the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, there was some human dancing in that. Yeah. There was some Muppet dancing in other things. Which is its
the puppet work is always great.
Yeah. Honestly, there were some things they did puppet-wise where I was like, how on earth did you do that? I did not see any wires. I did not see any, leads. Yeah. I was very impressed.
For 1992.
It's like what it was for A Night at the Opera. What we lacked in dancing, we made up for in puppetry. Whereas what we lacked in dancing, for that we made up for in stunt work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was great. And I thought that it matched the tone. I didn't need big in-the-street dancing for this. It just felt very...
Would have been nice, but I don't miss it.
Yeah, I didn't miss it. So, if they had had a human dance number that was a bit more involved, then I would have been happy, but I wasn't sad that it was not in it. Yeah.
This was a film where large-scale dancing in the streets absolutely would have fit in, but we're okay without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's so much else going on.
Well, and the puppet work was supposed to be the star of the show, and it absolutely was.
And yeah, you're right. And if we had hundreds of extras dancing in the street, that would have taken away from it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My biggest gripe is just that the Ghost of Christmas Past is so fucking creepy.
Oh god, not a fan. Not a fan.
So scary. And I remember being creeped out by it as a child, too. I was really not into it.
I did not like it. It took me out of it. My gripes, I've mentioned both of them. It's that it's technically Happy Christmas since it's in London. And there were Muppet horses and real horses. And I am confused by that.
I'm confused.
I mean, like, there were Muppet people and human people, so, like, that's...
I guess.
We had established... Okay. But we had established that the Muppet horses were drawing carriages.
Yeah.
So then we had a real horse.
Drawing carriage?
Drawing a carriage, and
honestly, this brings me to, like, Mickey Mouse has a dog named Pluto, and Goofy is also a dog, so what the fuck is going on there? It has the same vibe to me.
Oh yeah, it's like, don't look too close at this very shaky sweater.
Yes. My giggle is just the moment in the mirror where he, like, realizes how dumb his haircut is, and it's just like, oh, and then just moves on.
My biggest giggle was Gonzo and Rizzo. I fully enjoyed the
Their
banter.
shenanigans were fabulous.
There were so many physical gags that I didn't even really mention because they were so
because it's hard.
quick.
It's just so visual.
Yeah, there was, like, Rizzo getting dunked into the bucket of ice, and the next time we see Gonzo, he's carrying a rat-shaped popsicle. Yeah, and there was so much stuff that was just thrown away.
Yeah,
in the best comedic way. Like,
just
don't bring attention to it.
It's here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's here. It's a joy.
So fabulous. I have a couple of fun facts.
All right, lead the way. I don't have any.
Okay. During the filming, because they had humans and puppets, and obviously they had to work with depth perception in terms of making sure that, like, it all made sense, to allow for Muppets and human actors to be in the shot together, floors had to be removed and reinserted, with the actors, especially Michael Caine, having to walk across narrow planks between Muppets so that the performers could stick their hands out so that it was at approximately the right level. Which meant that it was a little bit dangerous, and he had to be very sure of his footwork.
He's 6'2", for reference.
Oh my god, tall man! I did not know that he was that tall. Wow. Now, this was the first major Muppet project after Jim Henson's death, like I said earlier. The role of Kermit the Frog was, of course, Jim Henson's main role, and it was handed down to Steve Whitmire. Now, he said that he was very nervous about taking over such an iconic character. And the night before he recorded Kermit's songs for the movie, he had a dream where he met Jim Henson in a hotel lobby and talked to him about how unsure he was. And in the dream, Jim Henson reassured him that the feeling would pass and he would do great. And after waking up, he felt confident that he would be able to do that part.
It was the ghost of Christmas future.
So,
it was the ghost of Muppet's future.
Muppet's future. In the commentary, the creators noted a funny story from screenings that they did, test screenings, where Scrooge gives all of the rat workers
buckets of
coal, and several children were like, what did the rats do wrong? Because coal is supposed to be a bad gift, and the creators had completely forgotten.
I know, and the kids weren't making the connection to the rats asking for coal
at
the beginning. I thought he was good now.
I know.
That's so funny.
It's so funny. All right, my last one, which is if you look closely at the very end, so it's like as they're panning out through the masses of people in Bob Cratchit's house and like all of that. In the background, there are lobsters hanging out of the basement window, and this is a direct reference to one of Charles Dickens's weirder lines, which is like a bad lobster in a dark cellar.
What's funny is I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say that, like, there is a point when they're zooming out that you can very clearly see what is a miniature scaled London.
Oh, yeah.
The set. But no, it's not the lobsters.
No, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. I want that cross-stitched on a pillow.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But that boy wrote it. He was paid by the word, and he's like, I'll make up a phrase.
I'm sure it meant something in the moment.
I'm sure. Alright, guys. Our homework this week from both of us is to listen to the cut song When Love Is Gone. We'll find that and put it into our show notes for you.
Wow.
That was a quick one, guys.
That was a quick one.
I don't think we need to do any edits. We're just gonna post this as it is.
No, I'm gonna edit things because I know I messed up on things. Well, if you are still here with us, we are so grateful. this has been 5678, a movie musical podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, please go onto whatever podcast streaming platform you are on and give us a star.
Throw us into a star.
Throw us into a star. Leave us a review. We'd love to read them.
And
Thank
also,
you so much for going on this journey with us.
Tell your friends and family, like, spread the word. We would love to have more people join us in our absolute insanity that is this podcast.
Tell your friends who like movie musicals and nonsense.
Yes.
If you want to get in touch with us, you can follow us on social media at 5678, a movie musical podcast. On Instagram, 5678 movie podcast. Is that it? On Twitter? Did I screw that up?
Twitter is 5678 a podcast.
Okay, 5678 a podcast on Twitter. Follow us there as well as on Facebook for dramaturgical facts about current episodes and sneak peeks of upcoming episodes. And if you want to send us an email,
it is 5678 a movie musical podcast @gmail.com.
We will have a website coming very soon when I have time
yes.
to work on it. And that's all,
that is all she
wrote. Grace, you have anything you want to leave us with?
Drink your wine. Drink your Ovaltine.
Drink your wine.
Go to bed early.
Drink some water, take your vitamins, take your meds.
Our next episode is going to be a shorter one just because Anna and I it's Christmas season, and so, we're not going to be watching a 2.5-hour movie during the Christmas season.
The term sprinting through to the holidays is resonating with both
active.
of us right now.
Yes. So this episode is going to be a little bit shorter.
As much as we wish this was our full-time job.
Oh boy, do I just.
So share with your friends. Share with your expensive professional friends who will sponsor this podcast.
Absolutely.
And then we can quit our day jobs.
Give me money. So this episode's going to be a little bit shorter. The next one, we're going to be doing a short musical from the 80s, so that should be fun. But after that, we will be back to our regularly scheduled
programming
episodes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Stay sane.
We wish you a happy holidays. And on to 2022!
Oh my god! Dear Lord, what has been the last 2 years? Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.
5, 6, 7, 8. There's no business like show business, like no business I know.